Entering the fantasy football season and drafts in the next few weeks here. He's a few wide receivers I think will break out this season. The first guy, Jeudy of the Denver Broncos. So Jerry Jeudy, he's been injury prone so far early in his career, but now he's got a real quarterback back there. After the last few seasons, it's been a carousel over there in Denver with Drew Lock, Teddy Bridgewater, and now you got Russell Wilson, one of the better quarterbacks in the last decade back there. So last season for Jeudy was a struggle for him. In only a few games he played, 38 catches, 467 receiving yards on 56 targets. But now you got Russell Wilson, Cortland Sutton, he should be 100%. And you got the two good running backs and a good O-line over there in Denver. So right now, Jeudy, we know he's explosive. We know he had a great college career. And this season, I think he's going to be a 1,000-yard wide receiver and score anywhere from 5 to 8 touchdowns because this offense is going to run high pace in Denver. They're going to be in a lot of shootouts. I think the AFC West is the best division, hands down, in pro football here. And there's going to be a lot of ball games where there's going to be a lot of stats. And Jerry Jeudy on some of those games, he's going to have put up numbers, over 100 yards receiving in a few of them, I believe. So right now, Jerry Jeudy, he's going anywhere 6th to the 8th round range. He is Jeudy. And as a number 2 receiver or flex option, I think he's pretty solid. Or even if you play in a 3-receiver league, to have him as your number 3 guy is solid as well. So right here, I think he breaks out this season. He's got the upgraded quarterback. It's going to be a high-pace offense. And supposedly he's 100% healthy coming into the season. The next guy is Devonta Smith of the Philadelphia Eagles, so the former Heisman Trophy winner, Devonta Smith, a few seasons ago. In his first year in the NFL last season, 64 catches, 916 receiving yards, 5 touchdowns, a 2-point conversion, and a fumble loss. So last season, it took him some time to get going. But in the back end of the year, Devonta Smith got going, and he helped this Eagle team make the playoffs last year. So Devonta Smith, now he's the number 2 over there. They got the true number 1 in A.J. Brown. And that's going to open up the field, in my opinion, for this Eagle offense. And Devonta Smith, we know he's a burner. Once this guy catches it and gets in the open field, he could take it to the house at any time. And right now, I like his average draft round. He's going 8th or 9th round, and he's a perfect flex option or a 3rd receiver, depending where you play in your fantasy leagues, because this guy's explosive. Defenses aren't going to be all locked in on him now, especially with A.J. Brown there and with Jalen Hurts, who uses his legs a lot and gets those first downs and makes things happen. So Devonta Smith, with his ADP and him not being the number 1 receiver there, with defenses going towards Brown and Hurts, I think this season will be a nice sophomore season here for Devonta Smith. And he's definitely a wide receiver that breaks out this season. Next guy's Drake London of the Atlanta Falcons. So right here, the impressive rookie drafted is London. And he's going late in fantasy leagues, 10th to the 13th round. And to be honest, this Atlanta Falcon team, they just don't have enough weapons. So London, he's going to have growing pains, no doubt about it. I know his quarterback's not good at all, really, is Marcus Mariota. He looks to be a run-first quarterback throughout his career. The former 2nd pick overall from the Tennessee Titans many seasons ago. But they're going to have to throw to someone, and they're going to be trailing in a lot of ball games. So it wouldn't be surprising to me to see Drake London have a pretty good season. And right here, he's going to be a guy that's going to be out there no matter what. This team's rebuilding with all the young guys, except Marcus Mariota being the veteran quarterback this season. But obviously, they moved on from Matty Ice and that generation of players over the last few years. Devonta Freeman's gone. Julio Jones is gone. Roddy White retired a few seasons ago. Matt Ryan gone. So now it's the new Atlanta Falcons here with Kyle Pitts and Drake London leading the charge here. So I think London, just on volume alone, an opportunity is going to break out and have a pretty good rookie year. And I could see him getting anywhere from 800 to 1,000 yards with 5 or 6 touchdowns. So I think London, where hit his ADP right now in the latter part of fantasy drafts, anywhere from the 10th to the 12th round, he's a good value pick and definitely a receiver I have an eye on who could break out. The next guy, Gabriel Davis of the Buffalo Bills. So early reports coming out that Davis is looking like the best wide receiver over there in training camp, even over Stephon Diggs right there in Buffalo. And Davis, yeah, he did kind of break out last season in that playoff game versus the Chiefs with 8 catches, 201 yards, and 4 touchdowns. But he's a wide receiver that I'm hoping to get in a few of my fantasy leagues in the next few weeks here. Going anywhere from the back end of the 5th round to the 6th round is Gabriel Davis. And last season, in his second year, 35 catches, 549 receiving yards, and 6 receiving touchdowns. So right now, Cole Beasley, He's gone out over there out of Buffalo. Emmanuel Sanders is gone. I know they signed Jamison Crowder, but he's more of a slot guy. And your number 1 and 2 guys over there is going to be Stephon Diggs and Gabriel Davis. And Josh Allen, once again this season, should have a field day. And it wouldn't surprise me at all to see Allen be the number 1 quarterback this season in fantasy football. But Gabriel Davis, he could run the routes. He's explosive. He's a big wide receiver that's going to have trouble for defensive backs. We're going to try to bump him at the line, but he's too big and too physical. So right here, Davis, he's a perfect number 2 wide receiver in fantasy. Or if you even get him into flex options, that's just overkill, in my opinion. If you got a good running back, 2 stud receivers, and then you go for Davis at your flex, he's going to help your fantasy team in a big way. And I see a huge year out of Davis, over 1,000 yards. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if he scores double digits in touchdowns as well. And the 5th and final wide receiver I have is a breakout guy this year is Alan Lazard of the Green Bay Packers. So Lazard, he's always been a decent receiver, but never staying healthy for this Packer team. But now with Devonta Adams on the Vegas Raiders, he's going to be the number 1 guy, and Aaron Rodgers has confidence in him and thinks he could get the job done. So Lazard last season, 40 catches, 513 receiving yards, and 8 receiving touchdowns. So on volume alone, he's going to get peppered with targets. He's going to get a lot of bubble screens and stuff, I think. And to be real here, this Packer team, they don't have a lot of weapons that they're going to catch the ball. I know they got Robert Tonyan. He's been a decent tight end over the last couple of years. You got Alan Lazard, couple rookies over there, wide receiver. But you got Valdez-Scantling, who went to Kansas City. And also, obviously, Aquarius St. Brown going to the Bears. And Adams going to the Raiders. So right now, just narrowing things down, and on targets alone, Lazard should be a breakout wide receiver. And if he stays healthy, anywhere from 900 yards to 1,000 yards, I think he has. And right now, he's going anywhere from the 8th to the 10th round range is Alan Lazard. And as a flex option or even a guy coming off the bench, I think it's a solid pick. So that's a few wide receivers I have as breakout options entering the season and for fantasy drafts over the next few weeks.